Hey everybody, did you know that if you have the Wolf Cape or the Lox Cape, or are even running a frost resistance mead, that when you go to the mountains, you will still take damage if you're wet? Let me show you. All right, as you can see, as long as I'm wet, I will still take damage even with frost resistance cape and a frost resistance potion both running at the same time. So I was wondering if the same is true for mobs in the game. Well, let me show you. All right, so I've got a goblin here. Let's see how much damage he takes on dry land. 72, 84, 81. All right, let's try a wet goblin. 103, and it's yellow. 110, 115. So as you can see, it's definitely worthwhile to get goblins wet before you try to kill them if you've got frost arrows or frostner. Let's see if this works on other mobs. Okay, I've got a gray dwarf brute here. He's on dry land. Let's see how much damage he takes from a frost arrow. 73, 83, 87. All right, let's try the brute who's in the water. 68. 65, 86. So you'll notice that he was getting similar numbers as the dry brute and that his damage was not yellow. That's because he wasn't fully wet. He wasn't fully submerged. He did not have the wet debuff. All right, let's try one that's completely submerged in water. 95, 106, 107, 93. So as you could see, he wasn't taking extra damage while just in my water pen over there because he wasn't low enough in the water. And that seems to be the case for a lot of the creatures that I've tested. Basically, they have to get the wet debuff. Now let me show you when I get the wet debuff. You can see here, I don't have the wet debuff yet, even though I'm in the water. Now let's see when I get it. I'm above my knees now. The waves are getting up high. There you go. They had to come well above my belly button area, almost to my chest, for me to get that wet debuff. And the same is true for mobs. It really has to come up to a high enough level on them to give them the wet debuff. Okay, now we're going to test to see if mobs get the wet debuff while it's raining. 60, and it's not yellow. So it's raining, and he does not appear to have the wet debuff. And I've tested this with a lot of mobs. None of them seem to get the wet debuff just because of the rain. They actually have to get deep into a body of water to get the wet debuff. So to summarize, you can get the wet debuff in the rain, or if you submerge yourself up to about your chest in the water. But mobs do not get the wet debuff when it rains. And they have to get pretty deep in the water too to get the wet debuff. But if you can make them do that, if you can make them swim out into the water a little bit, and you've got frost arrows or you've got frostner, you can go to town, do some extra damage, and clean house. I hope you found this interesting. That's it for now. Have fun out there.